Hi, this is Misha Friedman, and together with the Pulitzer Center, I've been covering the story about police reform in Ukraine. I first became interested in the story after learning that a group of Georgian reformers were asked by the Ukrainian government to help with the reform late last year, in 2014. 10 years ago, I lived in Georgia, and I remember vividly when this reform was taking place after their revolution in 2003 and how important it was for the country and how successful it was. So when I found out that the exact same people were going to try to do the same in Ukraine, I knew that this was a story that I needed to do. So I've made several trips to Ukraine. I first photographed very early stages when candidates were first recruited and tested, the interview process, like we had to do push-ups and running around and things like that. And I also spent a lot of time with Ekos Galadze, the woman behind the reform. Then I went back a few months later in April, and I spent about 10 days at the police academy in Kiev, which was quite exciting and interesting. Kind of as a journalist, as a civilian, it's not often you get a chance to see what the inside of the police academy looked like. One of the many things that I discovered which caught my attention was the presence of the California Highway Police officers who were assisting with the reform. And this was became even more interesting given all the attention that police behavior and Ferguson and the Eric Gardner trial was causing in the States. So it was really interesting and important to watch them instruct their Ukrainian counterparts on this in Ukraine. I chose to focus on female cadets, as women were really not allowed and never really patrolled streets in Soviet Union and Ukraine after that until the recent revolution. So women applied to the new police in record numbers, and I knew that this was going to be interesting and important for Ukraine. So when I came back in June and July to watch them graduate and really hit the streets of Kiev, these were the women I followed at work, and these are the people that I'm still in touch with, and it's really incredible to see how well the reform is doing and how it's really buying time for the government to do all these other reforms like healthcare and education and restructuring, the IMF debt, things that most people don't really see on an everyday basis, unlike the police with whom they interact. I believe the reform has had really positive impact on the society right now, as even from the conversations that I'm having with the police officers with whom I become friends with, they're very different new types of crime that are being reported, such as domestic abuse, calls that police would never receive because, when citizens know that, it's only men who are working in the department, there are less, women are a lot less likely to call and to report kind of sensitive crime like that. So I would love to go back to Ukraine in the future and see, what impact this reform is having on the society, 6 months, a year into the future. Thank you.